21 minutes past 6. Trying to drag a teenager out of bed in the morning and get them to school on time is a battle that most parents would love to avoid. Well, soon they might just be able to.
Probably not as early as this morning. The concept of delaying classes until the afternoon to allow older pupils to get a lie-in is being tried out in a number of schools, including one sixth form in Surrey, where A-level students start their lessons after lunch.
Breakfast Graham Satchel is there for us now, but he's all on his own because they're all still in bed. Morning, Graham.
Morning, Bill. Yes, completely deserted here, and that is because, as you say, they have started their school time after lunch, 1:30. Now, they've done it here not because they think their teenagers are lazy or deserve a lie-in, but after looking at this growing body of scientific evidence which suggests that in the teenage years, between about 15 and 20, our body clock shifts back a couple of hours and we naturally go to bed later and wake up later. They've only been doing it here since September, and we've been having a look to see how they've been getting on.
9 in the morning and Cassie is still in bed. Most schools have already started for the day, but Cassie's school now starts later, much later. It runs from 1:30 in the afternoon till 7 in the evening.
Morning, Mum.
Waking up later and getting more sleep has had a dramatic impact on life at home.
I used to get really annoyed with my mum trying to wake me up. I'm sorry. But now she doesn't really have to. I can just do it on my own.
I don't see her, looking tired. And, even if you're adult, you feel tired and you're likely, strop it to someone, but she's much better.
They've changed the start time at Cassie's school not because they think their sixth formers are lazy. The decision's based on more than 20 years of research into the teenage body clock.
The cards really are stacked against them because they are overriding nature by getting up, quote, early in the morning in order to be on time for school.
Overriding nature? What is the science here? We asked the students to explain it.
Our body clock is located in the brain, in the hypothalamus, and specifically in the suprachiasmatic nuclei. These cells are responsible for all our 24-hour timing systems in the human body.
In adolescence, as the brain continues to grow and develop, the body clock shifts to 2 to 3 hours later.
A 7 o'clock start time for a teenager is equivalent to a 4:30 wake-up time for an adult.
I definitely think I'm less of a classic teenager. In the mornings, I've been a lot more cooperative and a lot nicer, and I'll often be helping out and I'll actually be doing chores out of a want rather than a requirement.
In my old school timetable, I felt kind of grumpy in the morning, but then it would wear out. But now it's just, I'm feeling good all around because I got good sleep and good quality of sleep.
I find it easier to concentrate in lessons, whereas before I'd sometimes be falling asleep over the first 3 hours of the morning. Here it's so much more easy to concentrate and just to focus on the work that I have to do.
Schools on a day-to-day basis are dealing with a whole range of issues, sometimes mental health issues. I would argue there's a public health issue really in terms of a nation of teenagers, particularly older teenagers, that are going to school chronically sleep deprived.
It's too early to say if the changes here will mean students do better in their exams, but it's hoped a wider study by Oxford University will help other schools to decide whether to change their timetable.
Well, really interesting talking to the teenagers here who definitely seem, as far as they're concerned, to have benefited from this change. With us now this morning is Professor Derek Jan Dijk from the University of Surrey, Director of the Sleep Research Centre there. Morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Is the science here sort of accepted? Would you say that everybody now takes it that the teenage body clock does shift?
We do know that between the ages of approximately 10 and 20 years, the preferred timing of sleep shifts later. Now, these changes are driven in part by biological changes in the brain, and these changes concern the mechanisms affecting sleep-wake timing. In short, the body clock. Yes, there is good evidence that there are changes in those systems.
What do you think about this experiment here, starting school at 1:30 in the afternoon?
Well, certainly 1:30 is pretty late, but I think the real positive thing is the attention for sleep and sleep timing in this particular group.
Mm-hmm. And the headmaster here is saying that he had been dealing with teenagers who had mental health problems, obesity, and he ascribes some of those difficulties to what he calls a chronic lack of sleep. Do you think he's right?
A chronic lack of sleep is certainly detrimental for mental and physical health, also in teenagers. And getting enough sleep is a priority in this age group as well.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Professor. That's very kind. The Oxford University is hoping to get more schools involved to have a wider study, and perhaps only then will we be able to say whether this is a good idea that other schools could follow. With that, it's back to you.
Graham, thanks very much, Graham. 7:20, trying to drag a teenager out of bed in the morning and get them to school on time is a battle most parents would love to avoid. Well, soon, some of them at least, may be able to.
I bet some of you are trying to do that right now. The concept of delaying classes until the afternoon to allow pupils to get a lie-in is being tried out in a number of schools, including one sixth form in Surrey, where A-level students start their lessons after lunch.
So, at breakfast time, Graham Satchell is the only one there.
Yep.
Morning, Graham.
Yes, I'm feeling slightly lonely this morning, guys. Deserted classroom because, as you say, the teenagers won't be in here till about 1:30. Now, they're not doing this delayed start to the school day because they think their teenagers are lazy or deserve a lie-in. They've been looking at the scientific research which suggests that during the teenage years, from about 12, 13 to 20, the body clock shifts back a couple of hours. So teenagers go to bed later and naturally wake up later. They've only been doing it here since September, and we've been taking a look to see how they've been getting on. Well, really interesting talking to the teenagers there, and all of them said the same thing, which they thought that the change had benefited them. With us this morning from the University of Surrey, the director of the Sleep Research Centre there, that's right, isn't it, Professor Derek Yandike? Professor, is the science right?
There is no doubt that there are biological changes occurring during adolescence, and these are changes in the body but also in the brain. And these changes affect the mechanisms regulating the timing of sleep. So what we basically see is that between the ages of approximately 10 to 20, sleep drifts later and later, and then drifts earlier again.
What do you think of this experiment? Because at this school they're not starting till 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yes, if we look at the drift occurring between 10 and 20, that's approximately 2 to 2.5 hours. So 1:30 is indeed a little bit late. And I think that in general we need to understand how changes in our social schedules or school schedules interact with those biological systems affecting sleep timing.
A lot of comments to the programme this morning saying that teenagers are lazy, that they should go to school the same time as everybody else goes to work, that we're not preparing them for the world of work.
Oh, I don't think that these teenagers are just lazy. They are listening to their biology. They are also influencing their biology by their behavior, like, for example, the light exposure at night, reading late, or socializing late.
Mm-hmm. Do you think other schools should follow suit?
I think we need to study sleep and sleep timing in adolescence and try to find out what the optimal timing of those schedules are relative to clock time and the light-dark cycle.
Professor, thank you very much indeed. Perhaps a little early to say whether all sixth forms should try this out, but there is this study by the University of Oxford University, who will be drawing larger conclusions, and it will be interesting to see whether other schools do what they're trying to do here. With that from us, it's back to you.
Graham, thank you very much. Lots of teenagers think it's a good idea, and maybe not. Just get in touch, tell us what you think.
Lessons after lunch.
Breakfast, Graham Satchell is there, and I think, of course, there are no students. Good morning.
Morning, Louise. Yeah, the class is deserted here. Students will start 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, the old proverb goes, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise. Well, turns out if you're a teenager, the proverb is wrong. Modern science is saying that during those teenage years, from about 12, 13 to 20, the body clock shifts back a couple of hours. That's why they're starting later here. They've only been doing it since September, so we've been to have a look to see how they're getting on. Well, it's very clear talking to the teenagers themselves that they like this change, that they think it's beneficial for them. Let's see what the school thinks. With us now is the head of sixth form here, Tristram Jones-Parry. Morning to you.
Good morning.
How's it going so far as the school's concerned?
It's going well. I mean, it makes such an enormous difference. I've taught A-level students for many, many years. Teaching them at 9 o'clock in the morning, they're often looking exhausted. At 1:30, they're looking cheerful and on the ball. It's great.
A lot of people contacting us this morning saying that you are pandering to, quote, lazy teenagers and you're not preparing them for the world of work.
That's deeply unfair because basically the circadian rhythms change from 16 to 22. 16, they are not suited to getting up early in the morning. University, lots of universities starting lectures at 10 o'clock. They're at 22, 23, they're ready for work. But I mean, also, our students are coming in often at 10:30, 11, they're going to the gym. I don't understand the idea that one wants to make adolescents suffer for some reason. But there's lots of history of the fact that tiredness means depression often in adolescents. They need to be cheerful and on the ball and longing to work and enjoying themselves.
Very briefly, would you recommend this to other schools?
I would indeed. I mean, try it, not necessarily 1:30, but 11 o'clock in the morning perhaps. It just works so well, and the difference for the sixth formers is just wonderful.
Tristram, thank you very much. That's it from us here at Hampton Courthouse. Back to you.